I am so very excited, like super excited, overjoyed to be filming this first impression video because oh my goodness, I loved everything. Hello friends, happy Friday. So very excited that you're here. Today is actually going to be a part 1 of 2 events. So today I'm going to have 3 first impressions and then come back tomorrow for 3 more first impressions, all on shoujo manga. Though for today, I do have 1 technical shonen, but you guys know I'm going to have to do it. So the 3 titles I'm reviewing. The first one is actually a digital manga that is on K-Manga, and that is Tell Me, Dear Butler. Oh my goodness, we got some thoughts. The next one is Twisted Wonderland, the manga, Book of Scarabia. I'm so excited to be reviewing another Twisted Wonderland manga because I've loved them all, and I think this one might be my favorite thus far. And then I had the Makeup Remover Volume 1. So good as well. Like, y'all, we're gonna jump right in. I feel like I'm getting so tongue twisted because I am just so incredibly excited to talk about all 3 of these series. They were fantastic, or at least the volume 1. So let's go ahead and start off with Tell Me, Dear Butler. If you're not familiar with this, it is on K-Manga. I did talk about it in my recent manga news video, and the thing was I felt so bummed when I was editing because at the time of filming that video, I really did not feel the best. I could see my energy gain some momentum throughout the video, and I completely crashed after I filmed that. But at the beginning, I just did not have my typical energy. So I told myself, Laura, we're gonna bring it times 10 today for this manga. It was a win for me personally. That's my 2nd digital manga win. And I've had 2 license wins, but one of them still has not been announced yet, but there is one at least. So anyway, yes, Tell Me, Dear Butler. It is about our female lead. I believe she is 17 and she has some unrequited love towards her butler. She has been in love with him since the first day she saw him, and she has just consistently and constantly professed her love to him over and over and over. At the beginning of the chapter, we see that she's accusing him of cheating on her because he accepted a book that he had lent to a different person in the house, and they're not even in a relationship. Our female lead and him ain't even in a relationship, but she still said he was cheating. And so she ends up going to school, and her friend's like, well, hey, why don't you come to this party? And she's like, no, I only have eyes for my butler. And she's like, well, you might be able to make him jealous. And she's like, I'm on board. So she ends up going to this party. It does not work. She does not make her butler jealous in the least, but he ends up telling her, don't go cheating on me, you dummy, implying he might actually have feelings for her. And so when chapter 2 opens up, she's overjoyed because again, for 9 years, she has been in love with her butler. And she's like, now we are happily in love, but he's not outright saying it. And so begins this manga. Originally, this started off as a one-shot, and then it just picked up for the hype and the excitement, or picked up because of the excitement, however you want to say that. And let me tell you, the hype was real. Honestly, almost every day except for yesterday, I have read a chapter every single night before I go to bed. The last time I was this obsessed with a manga was Glasses with a Chance of Delinquent, and when I read it for the first time on K-Manga, I read it 5+ times after that. I dropped $30 to read all of Glasses on K-Manga. Yes, I spent real money. No regrets, y'all, because that's my all-time favorite shoujo manga. I would not drop that much money again on there, but I'm just saying that it was well worth it. And so I am mind blown of how much I have loved this manga, Tell Me, Dear Butler. I'm not really sure what it is. If there's one thing I can pinpoint, the storytelling is so engaging. I love our female lead, Kikyo. She is fantastic. I mean, we're seeing her right at the start where she's grabbing her butler by the tie, saying she's grabbing him by the scruff of the neck, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, she's very much putting herself out there, but she sort of tames back just a little bit, so she's not as, I guess you would say, there's a word for it, like direct. I mean, she is direct because she's always confessing her feelings to him. And I will say, since I have all the chapters on there, and there are a total of 2 volumes plus an additional chapter, I'm going to try and keep this just to the first volume. I did go back and skim through it so that I could have a refresher and make sure I'm not spoiling it, like past that. But I really do love our female lead and how much she just loves her butler. I mean, she doesn't have eyes for anybody else. And when she goes to that party and she's even honest of why she's here, she's just trying to make her crush jealous. And they're like, oh, is it working? And she's like, no, it's not. And so she just wants to find a friend. And I really enjoyed even after that. I think what makes it really special is our female lead is great. I, again, love how she's professing her feelings and everything. Like, you know she loves him. But what makes it, I think, very compelling is the butler doesn't really show much expressions. But then you get to these moments where you know full fact that man is smitten by her. And I really love how that storytelling is just shared, shown, created through the paneling and through the scenes that are happening. It was so very engaging. And I love how later on when there's a time, because I will say she's so excited that she feels he loves her back. After 9 years, like, yes, she is just fully lovesick. She was at the top of her class with her grades, and now she's at the bottom. And she has to get some help for that to get those grades back up. And so during all this and when it's happening, our butler says something about granting her a wish. And I really was amazed that our female lead, I mean, she could have anything. I mean, we had a long list show to us in the manga of what she wants, and they even had to trim it down to fit everything. But even when she has all these ideas of things she wants to do, the thing that she chose, which I will not tell you because I don't want to give spoilers, but what she chose really surprised me in that this is what she decided. And we meet another character because they interfered, aka Daddy, and I said, Dad, wrong time, buddy, wrong time. Like, can you just rewind, go back, stay away for 5 minutes because we never get his answer, you know? Like, come on, Dad. I was just surprised by the maturity that she shows there. I would not say she's an immature kind of heroine. I love her energy, so she's great. You can see some brief moments of character growth, especially in chapter 9, which is one of my favorite chapters, and I can't tell you because that's at the end, but it was very good. It only, honestly, I will tell you, it does get better and better as it goes on. I really appreciate just the character growth we are seeing in her. We don't see much of the butler, but I will say in volume 2, yes, you do. But I loved his character. I just love those moments. Like, he is swoony, y'all. He be bringing the swoon. I love those moments where he is just really straight-faced. And then he knows. The man is not dumb, not oblivious to her affections. And then he just knows exactly what to say. Like the end of the volume, when he says the thing, when she's trying to get him flustered and it backfires. And I said, goodness, my heart's over here skipping a beat. Like, that happened through the entire volume. I mean, it's become a happy, feel-good kind of read that I just read it because it makes my day better, to be honest. And I have all the butterflies and the feel-good vibes, and maybe not feel-good, definitely the butterflies and the swoon-worthiness. Like, our butler brings that in spades, and I feel like he knows it. He knows it. So I really like of going from straight-laced and like, oh, you know, trying to sort of pick at her to, man, he says these things that just get your heart skipping a beat right along with our female lead. Like, very compelling storytelling, and then the art is fantastic. Funny enough, I really like how the eyes are drawn in this manga. It's like fuzzy. Instead of like a straight circle, it's like fuzzy, I guess you would say. And depending on what's happening, and if our female lead's very excited or emotional, those lines are more fuzzy, like not in a way that you can't see it, but I don't know, it brings a different softness to our female lead. I think the butler, though, I think he has fully like straight circle lines, but for our female lead, she doesn't. And so I really like that. And the art is fantastic. It's beautiful. I love how everybody looks. I really enjoy all the art in the actual like story itself, but when we get the chapter pages, I really like those a lot. They're really cute, and latest one is one of my favorites because she's in a bathing suit and the male lead and the secondary male lead are dressed up. And let me just say, you do meet the secondary male lead, and since I've read past, I just want to mention, I love this second male lead, and he better have a happy ending. I can't ship him with our girl. I can't. I'm sorry. I am hardcore team Butler, but I do want to see this man happy. He is just such a little sweetie pie. I mean, I do agree with our female lead, though. Well, I can't say too much because that goes in past second volume, but I do believe she's got to be on her guard, not because he's like dangerous or anything like that. He's very shrewd. He's very shrewd. And so I was pretty blown away by his actions near the end of the first volume. I said, okay, you're really making it known that you want to get to know her, like, because you knew what she was doing. You knew, buddy. Like, don't pretend, you can't pretend that you didn't know, okay? And so, but I like him. And so I think that's very interesting that there's sort of a love triangle, but you know it ain't a love triangle because our girl only has eyes for her butler. Like, you just know it's not. But for me to not feel like get that second male lead out the picture speaks a lot for me personally, because I'm not really necessarily team love triangle in majority of the series I read. And if there is a love triangle, I like to know the end game so I can prepare my heart and not be shipping the wrong person and then be completely crushed at the end. No, that's not a happy reading experience for me. It's just not. This first volume volume, I would just say it is, there's so many great contemporary romances out there that I'm hesitant to say this is one of the best ones I've read, but I would say in terms of being addicted to this manga, yes. Again, the last time I was so hooked and so invested that I went into a reading slump after because nothing could measure up was with Last with a Chance of Delinquent. Like, it is up there in favorite series that I have just totally loved and enjoyed, which makes it a little bit challenging when it came to my reading wrap-up video because I had two favorites, this one and another series. Love them both, but they're two different genres. And I was like, yeah, this one, it just really, I could easily see this be, if it continues on how good it is and has been, easily will be a favorite read for me of all of 2026. I know it's early to say that, but truly, I have loved it so much, and to just keep coming back to it speaks volumes to me. So I would definitely say if you're looking for a new contemporary romance to try, you enjoy age gap romance, because it is an age gap romance. Also, if you want some swoony male leads, some swoony art, yes, with a very fun heroine that just brings this manga to life, please try Tell Me Dear Butler. There's been so many amazing manga that have come on K-Manga, but this is one I would easily say you need to give a chance. Even if it's just the first chapter, just 2 chapters, give it a chance. I really hope you love it because I will be recommending it over and over on this channel moving forward. The next volume I want to talk about is Twisted Wonderland. Y'all, this might be my favorite volume yet, but let me tell you what it's about before I tell you my reasons why I'm saying that. So I will just preface here, you don't have to have played the game to read this. You don't even have to read the previous manga to enjoy this, but I do feel you will enjoy it more because you will know who the characters are. So I do feel like this would be more enjoyed by Twisted Wonderland players, but I do know somebody who's not playing the games and reading the novels and the manga as they come out, and she has really enjoyed it. So I do want to preface, I think anybody could read it. Again, I think the enjoyment will be stronger for those who are already into the game and have at least read the previous manga and familiar with the characters more so than this, or what's introduced in this volume, I should say. So like the other volumes in this series, we are following you, but what makes this series different than the other Yus is that we are following a new young woman, a female Yu, and she is a Gairu, and I absolutely love her. She is amazing. She's fantastic. She is easily my favorite for sure, like hands down. But anyway, sorry, got sidetracked there. But yes, so we are following Yu here, and she has come into Twisted Wonderland the normal way where we have Carriage-kun take her out more or less, and she is in this magical, or at this magical academy, but she has no powers. So now we're entering into a new part of the story in the game, in a new arc, and I guess you would say in the manga, where everybody is celebrating their, I think it's winter vacation. Yeah, winter vacation. Everybody's going home, but you can't go back home. She can't go back home to Japan. She is stuck here, and she goes to the head mage, who is like, oh yes, I'm gonna go investigate this. He's going on vacation. He dressed up for vacation, and so as he is gone and all of her friends are basically gone, she's been given a task to do while everybody is away, since she's sort of like a janitor of sorts. And as she is doing her job that her and Grimm have been assigned, she meets this guy here, Jamil, who is cooking some food in the kitchen. He ends up inviting her and Grimm to go to their dorm and go eat lunch and whatnot, but originally she was not going to say yes. But then suddenly her eyes changed and she's like, yeah, we'll go. She's like, okay, that was a little bit weird. That's not what I was going to say. But she says, oh, well, let's go. Because Grimm's really excited. Free food. What's not to like? And as she's going back to their dorm, she's finding out that the house warden here, Kalem, who's very outgoing and very free-spirited, that he's been unexpectedly very harsh on this dorm and not letting anybody in this dorm go back home for winter break. Again, everybody else in the school is pretty much gone. But yet here's this dorm. Everybody's here and they're going to be having, was it solo study for like 6 hours. They have to practice their magical abilities because they came in last place in the Spell Drive tournament, which happened in the previous arc or volumes in the Savannah Claw manga, I guess you would say. Not only that, but their grades are not the best. They're some of the weakest out of all of the dorms in the series. As this unfolds, everybody is sort of a little bit nervous about Kalem because they're like, man, he's really harsh. But then when you meet him, he is so outgoing and excited and friendly because like, yeah, like this is how we first see him and everybody's like, oh, you know, gulping, got that nervous sweat going and everything. And then he's like this. so full of energy and has this beautiful, bright smile. And so it begins of you trying to figure out what is going on, because just from this first encounter and the meeting they have, he's not acting right later on in the series, where he's just so unexpectedly harsh, like making them march through the desert for a long time with very little water. And so begins her getting roped up into the shenanigans of this dorm. I loved it. And the reason I say I'm pretty confident it's my favorite. Now, this is a very faithful adaptation, just like the previous manga. All of them do a great job of adapting the original source. It's perfect. I have no complaints there at all. I don't think I've had any complaints about any of them when it comes to that. But what made this stand out is it really has, I'm hesitant to use the word shoujo style, but like, it's very soft. While the previous series had a lot of, I feel like, harsher lines or edges, this one does not. I mean, it sounds funny to say, but there's a joke I've heard that you know it's a shoujo manga when the guys have eyelashes. In this manga, all the guys have eyelashes, and they're all very pretty and handsome and just really great. In fact, when I first saw Deuce, let me see if I can get a picture. Y'all, he just looks so soft, and look at him! Look at them. They both just have this softness to their faces and the way that they carry themselves that I really, really enjoy. Now, that's not to say that when we meet some of the other characters, like when we see Jade and Floyd, if they're not scary, because yes, they're still scary. Look at Jack. This was so cute. Look at him with his cacti. They're so adorable. He's one of my favorites. He's such a precious little being. Leona looked handsome as ever. Riddle was great. Cater was great. Like, I mean, but they're still bringing a lot of fear to the characters around them or to the people around them. But I don't know, there was just this softness that I feel has not been captured quite the same in the other volumes. And I really, really loved it. Now, that's not to say I don't like the art of the other series, because I absolutely love it, but I just felt that this was more my preference, I guess you would say. And I will say that our female you is definitely the other favorite part of this volume. She fits in right at home. I really loved right from the beginning that we're having an instant connection with her. We know what her dreams are, what her desire is, why she's working hard before Carriage-kun takes her out. I really love that connection. I'm pretty confident. I know we had it with the first two series. It was a little bit hard at first with Savannah Claw. I don't think I connected with that you quite as much. But the other ones we did. We knew what they wanted to do. And so I just really love that. I'm also very biased because I love Gairu characters a lot. And I feel like her energy just so closely matched Kalim's that it was such a fun time to read them on page and them getting so excited together. And it would definitely, of course, would have been better if shady things aren't happening, because that's sort of the thing is we see you have this eye change and then we see Kalim having something similar. So it's like, what is going on? Who is causing this? Why it's happening? Now, I played the game, so I do know who it is, but I don't want to say for the sake of spoilers. And look though. Look how pretty Jamil looks. And even Kalim, like they're just really, I mean, they're already cool characters, but I don't know. I feel like the manga just made them really shine on page in a way I just absolutely loved. And getting to another part in here. Now, this volume or this series or arc of the story is based off of Aladdin. And I will just say this is one of my favorite pages because you really feel the magic of Aladdin in this story. And I felt that when reading, especially during this scene here, but I don't know, I felt like I was holding my breath when I was first reading this. And when there's a comment made of a whole new world, y'all, I started singing a song in my head. I really think the artist did this series justice, and it was very exciting to see how it just came to life on page. It was fun and it was special, and there's so much energy, and I really love how our you here of how she dresses and how she takes care of herself and presents herself. Like, she's just a very fun and enjoyable character to follow, and I do feel like of all the characters thus far, she's probably the most, I think she'd be one of the most relatable. I don't know, the one with Azul, I really love that you as well. He's probably a little bit more personality-wise, he's definitely more relatable, but maybe it's just because this is fun. Like, you really feel the energy coming to life on page, making it just such a delight to read. I do love how we're getting to the mystery part here near the end and how things are unfolding. You can really really see the tension amping up just as it was in the game, but now it's just, you know, on page of the manga. I would definitely recommend this. I mean, I would recommend all the Wonderland manga, but I do feel this is the most exciting one yet. It does not have that same fear factor, I guess you would say, and I did talk about this in the one with Azul, Jade, and Floyd. I did talk about how scary they looked, and it was great. It was great. I did enjoy that, but I just didn't realize I would love something a little bit more softer in terms of the art style and just how much I would click with between the art and the Gairu female lead you. Like, it was really wonderful. I'm very excited to see where the story goes. I don't really know. We only have one volume, I believe, out in Japan. This had a different release than the other volumes, so there's not any spoilers going around, which is pretty exciting because I truly don't know what things will look like later on. I feel like this could be a 3-volume series or a 4-volume series, but with how much happened, I feel like it's going to be leaning towards 3 volumes because I could see a certain character overblotting by the end of volume 2, and I truly hope it doesn't take long because while the other series I really love, they're not ones that I have come back to, but with this one, I would. Again, because just the art style and you being a Gairu that really I just connected with, and I truly liked how they brought all of the side characters to life in the sense of they had faces, which sounds weird because in the game they do not have faces, and a lot of the expressions here are just so on point. I love Grimm's expression. Lots of really great humorous moments as well. I'm not able to find you or show you an example of the side characters without there being a bunch of spoilers on page, but definitely know I love this. I will be picking up volume 2 and I'm very eager to see what happens, what unfolds next. Last but not least, the Makeup Remover, one of my most anticipated releases of 2026. And I must say a huge thank you, a shout out to Inklord. They sent me a review copy and I was so floored and so touched. They also gifted a little mini mirror. I didn't think to bring it with me because it is happily in my purse, but I love this. Oh my goodness. This is a fully colored manhwa. You can read it on Webtoons, so you have to either buy the chapters or watch with ads, I believe. And it is about our main female lead here. When it starts out, she is a young college woman who feels everybody got a glow up but her. She talks about how she was able only to focus on one thing at a time, and when she tried to focus on other things, something was always going to fail. So she was just encouraged, like, hey, focus on your studies, focus on getting good grades, getting into university, and then you can worry about, you know, makeup and making yourself prettier. That time just doesn't seem to ever come for her. And so she ends up going to like a salon-like place and she asks, hey, can you do my makeup? And she wants to look like this young woman here. Yes, she brings a picture of this young girl here who's very beautiful and is a student at her university. And she says, hey, can you make me look like this? The guy doing her makeup does, but let's just say it doesn't look like the picture at all. And so she ends up going to the bathroom, into the men's bathroom by accident, if I might add, and hears them trash talking her in the bathroom. And as she's about to go, she storms out and like, how dare you mock me kind of thing. She ends up seeing our male lead who's also in the men's bathroom and ends up telling him like why she can't see because she needs glasses and she didn't have them on at that time, so she didn't know she went to the men's bathroom. He is so, sounds really weird, he's so drawn to her face. And the thing is about him, he's a very famous makeup artist and he has been invited to compete in this makeup reality TV show, but he needs a model. The girl I showed before that's the pink hair, like his company is pushing to have her be his model, but he's like, no, that's not who I want. I want, like, basically the face will call to him, and it happens to be her face. He reveals a secret of his own to help convince her. She finally starts to become on board, but she's like, please hide my identity with everything in you. And so begins this first volume. Somebody did ask me if this is a romance. In this first volume, there was none. I do think, though, it becomes a romance later on. I would not be mad if it became a romance because they were very sweet and I really like their characters. But rewinding, talking about our female lead, she is so relatable. She was amazing. Like, even though, I mean, I think she's like in her young 20s, I believe. I forgot how old she is. I think she's like 20, 21. The way she felt about herself reminded me of myself in high school where I had very little self-confidence. I had really bad acne, and while I have always struggled with having a red face, regardless of what products I've used, it was very bad in high school, like to the point where I would look like a strawberry because my face was just so irritated all the time due to the the makeup things that I was using. Well, I should say like the skincare products I was using. I was seeing a dermatologist, and the skincare materials that they gave me, just in hindsight, they were not good for my face. Not only that, but I also never wore makeup, and I have felt intimidated as an adult to even go near it. There's so much out there, and I know there's so many videos out there, just the idea of that's intimidating. And so I really related to a lot of these feelings of just wanting to wear makeup for once and just feel pretty, to just be looked at not with scorn or treated, well, because you're ugly, we're not going to acknowledge you as another person, we're going to look down on you, and we're going to mock you. I really resonated with that a lot. It was amazing to me because I was surprised how this volume really teaches about makeup in such a safe way. And what I mean, it's like where you're not feeling like you're gonna get judged because you feel you're ugly and you're like, what are you doing here at this makeup section kind of thing. Now, I can't say I've really related to that aspect, and that's not something that happens in the manga, but I think those feelings are still associated with that, where you're feeling like a fake or a phony because you're just wanting to make yourself prettier, but you don't know where to start, you don't know who to ask, and you're ashamed and embarrassed to have to ask, especially if you're asking somebody who you consider to be gorgeous or very handsome. And so I was blown away of how, especially near the end when things are happening for this photo shoot, if it gives an actual breakdown of the different types of makeup, what it means with the colored makeup, how to use it, how to do contours on your face, and maybe it doesn't give like a step-by-step guide. It's showing, I feel like, a loose guide of how they are doing it, of the steps you would do to put on makeup. That was really amazing, and I was very excited when they mentioned Vaseline, because especially this winter, I have wrestled so much with dryness, with facial dryness, and they mentioned like in this, which was so cool, because I heard about this hack a few weeks ago and I've been using it, doing it at nighttime, and it's made a massive difference. But after you do your moisturizer, to put Vaseline on your face to help lock in that moisture. And yes, they mentioned of doing that with her, and I thought that was the coolest thing to see something, a real life hack that I had came across, and them talk about how it really makes a difference. So cool, so cool. When it comes to the male lead, I really loved his character. He's so encouraging, and I think because of things, we don't know his backstory, but when he conveys a certain secret, you can see that he understands these feelings that our female lead's having. And I really love that for being a makeup artist, that he, and her being his model, like he could totally, I mean, he's an amazing makeup artist, and he could totally push his visions, his idea, his goals onto her, but instead of pushing his vision onto her, he asked her, what is it that you're wanting to gain? What is it that you're wanting to look like? What is it you're wanting to do by participating, being my muse, and doing this? They have to do this early round where they have to show off their skills and they have to do a photo shoot. And she's like, I don't know. Rather than him again pushing his idea of whatever he has, he's like, well, I'm going to get to know you. I want to find out more about you so that I can understand and help you shine the way that you would like to shine wearing this makeup. And there's just such a great conversation where he even tells her at one point, I'm a makeup artist, but I want you to have the confidence when you wear this makeup because it's the choice you're choosing. You're not trying to transform yourself and become a whole other person just because now you're pretty. Like, he doesn't want that. And I thought those discussions and those themes were really great. And I will say that near the end, when we see the final decision that is made for that photo shoot and for that round of wearing makeup, y'all, it was empowering. I teared up. I was so blown away by the conversation had, and I won't go into what it was, but they do talk about why does what we're talking about need to be sexy, and what does that mean? And the comparison that was given, and again, the things explored and talked about was just like, wow, I feel so seen. I feel so validated. Like a question maybe I haven't personally asked myself, but it was like, we don't need that sexy theme or the sexy part to help convey what they were trying to convey through this makeup. It was incredible. And like, I was already sold on the volume as a whole, but I really feel near the end when they're getting ready for that photo shoot that I felt fully invested and locked in. I already have volume 2 on my pre-order list. It's going to definitely stay there. I'm definitely going to be getting it because I was just so moved. I don't know what I was expecting really when I came into this volume. I wasn't thinking it to be shallow, but I feel like, as I was sharing before, of having battled that self-confidence in the past and still feeling self-conscious about my face at times and how red it gets and just how sensitive my skin is in general to different skincare products, that I would feel maybe like inferior to the conversations had. But no, instead I felt like I was educated in a really cool way and able to to look at a heroine and I'm like, man, I see instant relatability. Like, this young woman gets it. Like, I know what she's feeling, and seeing her knowing that she has a male lead who steps in at just the right time to encourage her in a way that's greater than, well, just wear makeup, it'll solve all your problems and you'll be pretty. Boom. And that's like not ultimately what she's wanting. There's more than just being pretty. And the male lead sees that. And so I loved how all these elements are coming together to really bring this vibrant first volume, and also humor. Oh my goodness. It has all these great things and great conversations and beautiful art, but some of these panels were absolutely hilarious. And I was not expecting this volume to be so impactful and heartfelt, but also be equally just as funny. I loved several of the expressions, so I really think this is a great series to try if maybe you're wanting to get into manhwa for the first time and you have dealt with insecurities or currently dealing with insecurities, and find that relatability and just this message that I feel like goes, well, you know, beauty is only a skin deep, or however that saying goes. And yes, you know, that's not a lie, but I do feel like it's easier for somebody we consider to be a pretty person or a handsome person to say that than somebody who we feel we share in, like, okay, we're not in, like, say, the top choice to be the most beautiful person. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Because I'm like, I'm not trying to knock myself or anything like that, but it just, I feel like there's just that relatability that really shows, like, you could still wear makeup. You don't have to wear makeup and you're still a beautiful person if how you choose to carry yourself, but wearing makeup also doesn't detract from the idea that, well, you're only pretty because you wear makeup. Like, there's so many good underlying themes of this manga and discussions that I really feel is going to be just as impactful as it was now, and seeing where all of that's going to go. And if it turns to a romance, I will be on board. I will be on board. But I really feel invested into our female lead's journey, her beauty journey, and how she's going to start viewing herself differently. We see that in the final few pages of how that's already beginning. And I am here to see that continue. This was a fantastic first volume. I am so happy that I loved it just as much as I was hoping, because even if I didn't really know what to expect, I felt the expectations were high. You know what I mean? And especially since it is, I mean, I understand I got a review copy, but these volumes aren't cheap either when you're buying for yourself. So I do feel like Manhwa has more pressure to do well in our eyes, you know what I mean? And it went above that for me. So highly recommend. As you can see, I would highly recommend all of these. I loved all 3 volumes so very much, but I would love to hear from you. Which one do you think is the most interesting? Have you read any of these? Let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!